The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please report to the floor of the House and take your seats. All members of the House will report to the floor. The clerk will ring the bell. All members will please take seats. All members, please report to the floor of the House. We are going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Well, good morning. I think we're going to call today Super Wednesday. We actually had invited and were expecting some of the group that's putting the Super Bowl on yesterday, and obviously due to the weather and the concerns they were having, they were not able to be here, but I know that we're all excited about that. I got the best seat in the house. I'm going to see the game all the way from the mountains of North Georgia, unobstructed. Clear view, clear view. We will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 66th House District, Representative Kimberly Alexander. Representative Alexander.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an honor to introduce the chaplain of the day, Pastor Anthony Murray. Pastor Murray resides in my district, but his church is located in Representative Monahan's district. Pastor Murray has over 20 years in ministry and is continuously seeking God's face for new and innovative ways to win souls. The son of a preacher, he was called to minister God's word at an early age. He began with a small Bible study group, which eventually grew to what became known as Club VFL. He travels the world, igniting people to dream again with his best-selling book, What Happened to Your Dreams? Pastor Murray delivers the Word of God with humor and practical knowledge, which enables people to apply it to their everyday lives. Under Pastor Murray's leadership, Oasis Church, the one located as a primary church in Dallas, is one of the largest African-American church. It's the place to experience a vibrant and refreshing, life-changing move of God. With 2 campuses located in Dallas, Georgia, and the Adamsville area of Atlanta, Oasis Church is a place where people can be real, a place to grow, and a place to build meaningful relationships. Pastor Murray is a trendsetter, visionary, and transformational leader, has a genuine love and passion for people, and a profuse love for God. Designed for the contemporary Christian lifestyle, Pastor Murray has been given a new ministry for a new day. He is known for his love of inspiring people to not survive, but to thrive in life. I present to you Pastor Anthony Murray.
Thank you. Well, I'm so glad to be here on Super Wednesday. They told me to tell a joke before I started. I don't know how good it'll be, but first I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to be here, and Representative Alexander and all the members of the House for the opportunity to speak today. So here's my joke. I got up the other morning and my jaw was hurting, and you know I'm a speaker. I talk, you know, and my jaw was hurting, so I went to the dentist, and they said, "You're having issues. You need to get your wisdom teeth out." So I turned around and I left because I need all the wisdom that I can get. Was that good? That was my joke, too. You better write that down. That was my joke. It worked. It worked. All right, listen, I don't have a lot of time to talk. I have a lot of friends here, and I'm so honored to be here. I'm so proud to be here and to see so many of you out here today. What I want to talk about really quickly is this. Remember to dream. At some point in your life, you dream to be here, just like me, at some point. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I could do all kind of stuff, but I don't want to talk long. I hate it when we at stuff like this when people talk all day. But I want to really talk to you really quickly about dreaming. At some point in your life, you dreamed. You said, "Man, I could make a difference. I could work in politics. I could make a change in somebody's life." That's why you're here. At some point in your life, you thought about that, and you made huge sacrifices to do it. And I've learned that life is short. The Bible talks about life, how life is so short that man is here for just a little while and it's full of trouble. And you can have such a big dream, and so many people go through life and things happen to them and they stop dreaming. And I learned that the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard. That's where all of the unrealized dreams happen. And so I'm like you. You guys are superheroes, and I look at you, freedom fighters, people who are unsung heroes. So many of you people can't look at you and tell what you sacrificed to be here to do this. You know, many people, you work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or this is your job. And you could do so many other things in life. You could have so much more wealth. You could have so much more time where you're not aggravated and frustrated, but yet God gave you this dream to make a difference and an impact on people who can't do it for themselves. And I just want to remind you of that dream, because in life, fighting like we fight and working like we work, sometimes we can forget that. We can forget the dream, and we start thinking about the fight. We forget the dream, and we think about the politics. We forget the dream, and we think about who upset us. We forget the dream, but the dream is what got us here. I believe this is the greatest time in the history of the world for America. I believe this is the greatest time in the history of the world for anybody who can believe that they can do anything. I'm here to encourage you to keep dreaming. The world needs you. You are that important. You're more important than any bill. You're more important than politics. You're more important. You are important to the world. And I want to challenge you. I want to push you to keep dreaming, because the world needs you. We are all one idea away from everything shifting in our lives. Just one idea. I've learned the difference between hot and boiling. It's only 1 degree. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we think we've got to do this much. We got to do this much change to get this much change. But maybe it's just this much. That 1 degree will be the defining difference for your life. I believe that God is still giving you new dreams, and I want you to focus on that. I want to talk about it really quickly. I want to talk from Proverbs 3 and 6, and it simply says this. It says to acknowledge God in all your ways and let him direct your path. To acknowledge God in all your ways and let him direct your path. It was him that gave you the dream. It was him that gave you the desire. And where we are right now in this country, and where we are right now in politics and in the world, we need you to dream again. I want to ask you a question. Are you willing to dream again? You may be 60, you may be 70, you may be 40, you may be 30. I don't know, but are you willing to dream again? Are you willing to do that? That's what the beauty in life is. That's how you please God. That's how you make God proud of you. That's how, when it's all said and done, that dream that God gave you, when it's all said and done, he'll say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You did a good job. Come on in here and be in paradise with me." So I want to talk really quickly again about dream. Dream is broken down into five letters. The first one is D. I want you to remember to be determined to do what's right. My father taught me that. No matter what happens, no matter what opportunities that come in your way or obstacles that come your way, be determined to do what it is that's right. If you do that, you'll please God, or you'll make a lasting impact. The next one is R, remember. Remember that this is a calling from God. You are a superhero when I look at you, a change agent, a freedom fighter. Remember that this is a calling that we do. It's not your idea, it's God's idea. The next one is the letter A. It's always be willing to embrace change because God works in times and seasons. The next one is the letter A. Answer that still, quiet voice when God speaks to you. That's where the answers are. Be willing to answer him when he speaks to you. Because I believe in this season that we're in the world, God is speaking to you new things. I believe he's rejuvenating seniors. I believe you're stronger. Every senior, you're stronger than you've ever been in your life. And I believe he's doing things with millennials. I represent that bridge. I'm in the middle. I'm not a millennial. I'm not a baby boomer. I'm right in the middle. And so I'm in that bridge, right? The last thing is the letter M, to manage it, to manage to do it all over again. No one knows how tough it is for people like you to get up every morning and get up every day to do this. No one knows what you've sacrificed and how tough it is, because many of you in this room, you are an unsung hero. You've made so much impact, some of you don't even get credit for it, but God sees it. So remember the M. You got to manage to get up and do it all over again. I want to thank you so much for this quick moment of inspiration. I hope somebody grabs something that can help you. I want to pray. Gracious God, our Father, we thank you now for bringing us together. It is you who's reminded us that all it takes for us is to be unified people to change the course of things that's gone wrong. As we stand here acknowledging you before these representatives of our great state, we ask that you lead and guide us to continue to prosper us. Let us remember that in all we do, we must put you first. We must never forget those that need help finding their way and those that you've purposed for us to extend continued care. Lord, we thank you that you've enabled us to have a say in our own lives and that our thoughts matter to you. We thank you for making this state what it is, what it will continue to be, and for putting the right people in the right place to take us to a great future. For these and other blessings, we give you all the praise and all the glory. In your name we pray. Amen.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. The chair recognizes Chairman Taylor, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Your Committee on Information and Audits have read the review of yesterday's proceedings and found them to be correct.
Chairman Taylor, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, on the 59th, moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 79 by Representative Gilliard, the 162nd, and Bruce, the 61st. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 4, Title 30 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to rights of persons with disabilities.
Juvenile justice.
House Bill 80 by Representative Werkheiser, the 157th. Fleming of the 121st, Morris of the 156th, and Welch of the 110th. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 4, Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions for public assistance.
Judiciary.
House Bill 81 by Representative Jones, the 25th. Bill being titled act to amend Article 4, Chapter 8 of Title 13 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to restrictive covenants and contracts.
Judiciary.
House Bill 82 by Representative Ballinger, the 23rd, Setzler, the 35th, Welch, the 110th, Clark of the 98th, Clark of the 147th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 15-1-17, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to veteran court divisions.
Judiciary.
House Bill 83 by Representative Douglas, the 78th, Trammell, the 132nd, Setzler, the 35th, Fry, the 118th, Walensky of the 79th, and others. Bill being titled Act to amend Part 15 of Article 6 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to miscellaneous provisions under the Quality Basic Education Act.
Education.
House Bill 84 by Representative Smith, the 134th, Taylor on the 73rd, Blackman, the 146th, Hatchett, the 150th, Efstration, the 104th. Bill being titled Act to amend Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance.
Insurance.
House Bill 85 by Representative Houston of the 170th, Newton, the 123rd, Corbett, the 174th, Rhodes, the 120th, Collins, the 68th. Bill being titled Act to amend Code Section 48-8-3 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to exceptions from sales and use taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 86 by Representative Benton of the 31st, Stovall of the 74th, Green of the 151st, and Gamble of the 15th. Bill being titled Act to amend Part 11 of Article 17 to Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to complaints, policies for teachers.
Education.
House Bill 87 by Representative Clark of the 98th, Clanton of the 75th Bar of the 103rd, Cantrell of the 22nd, Carpenter of the 4th, and others. Bill being titled Act to amend Part 14 of Article 6, Chapter 2 of Title 20, Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to other educational programs under the Quality Basic Education Act.
Education.
House Bill 88 by Representative Thomas, the 56th, Bodie of the 62nd, Kendrick of the 93rd, Scott of the 76th, and Dickerson of the 113th. Bill being titled Act to amend Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to motor vehicles and traffic.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 89 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Powell of the 171st, England of the 116th, Burns of the 159th, and Fry of the 118th. Bill being titled Act to amend Chapter 6 of Title 31, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to state health benefits, plans, and development.
Special Committee on Access to Quality Health Care.
House Bill 90 by Representative Bruce of the 61st, Trammell of the 132nd, Bodie of the 62nd, Dukes of the 154th, Shannon of the 84th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Department of Administrative Services.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 91 by Representative Welch of the 110th, Ballinger of the 23rd, Oliver of the 82nd, and Petrie of the 166th. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to regulation and construction of hospitals and other health care facilities.
Judiciary.
House Bill 92 by Representative Rutledge of the 109th, Fleming of the 121st, Efstration of the 104th, Gravely of the 67th, and Belton of the 112th. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 2 of Chapter 32 of Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Georgia Municipal Court Training Council.
Judiciary.
House Bill 93 by Representative Jones, the 167th, Williams, the 145th. Hogan, the 179th, Werkheiser, the 157th, and Stevens, the 164th, and others. Bill be entitled an act to amend Article 2 of Chapter 5 of Title 12 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to control of water pollution and surface water use.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 94 by Representative Jones, the 167th, Williams, the 145th, Hogan, the 179th, Werkheiser, the 157th, Stevens, the 164th, and others. Bill be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 2 of Chapter 8 of Title 12 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relative to solid waste management.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Resolution 72 by Representative Kendrick, the 93rd, Stevens, the 164th, Cantrell, the 22nd, Caldwell, the 20th, and Carter, the 92nd. A resolution encouraging Georgia to host the world's largest startup pitch competition.
Economic Development and Tourism.
House Resolution 73 by Representative Ralston, the 7th. A resolution recognizing the G.L. Huff family and dedicating a road in its honor.
Transportation.
House Resolution 74 by Representative Ralston, the 7th. A resolution honoring the life of Reverend John D. McDaniel and dedicating a bridge in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 75 by Representative Ralston, the 7th. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. Benjamin Benny Norton Whitaker and dedicating an intersection in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 76 by Representative Jones, the 167th, Williams, the 168th, and Welch, the 110th. A resolution honoring the life of Chief Frank McClellan, Jr. and dedicating a road in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 77 by Representative Benton of the 31st, Gaines, the 117th. A resolution honoring the life of Deputy Edward Moore Evans and dedicating a road in his memory.
Transportation.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 14 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Mitchell of the 88th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Nelson of the 125th, Bernal of the 77th, and others. A bill relating to lottery for education. House Bill 15 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Glanton of the 75th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Nelson of the 125th, Cannon of the 58th. A bill relating to powers of housing authorities. House Bill 16 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Schofield of the 60th, Bentley of the 139th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, and others. A bill relating to education. House Bill 48 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, and Stevens of the 164th. A bill relating to levy of excise tax, rate, taxation of motor fuels not commonly sold or measured by gallon, rate, prohibition of tax on motor fuel by political subdivisions, exceptions, and exempted sales. House Bill 49 by Representative Morris of the 26th, Jones of the 47th, Tanner of the 9th, Lumsden of the 12th, Powell of the 32nd, and others. Bill relating to water supply and water conservation management plan and interbasin transfers relative to the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District. House Bill 50 by Representative McCall of the 33rd, a bill to abolish the office of elected county surveyor of Lincoln County. House Bill 51 by Representative Green of the 151st, a bill to amend an act creating the Quitman County Water and Sewage Authority. House Bill 52 by Representative Green of the 151st, a bill to amend an act creating the Small Claims Court in Clay County. House Bill 53 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Cantrell of the 22nd, Tanner of the 9th, Ridley of the 6th, Gravely of the 67th, and others. A bill relating to elementary and secondary education. House Bill 54 by Representative Perkle of the 155th, a bill to amend an act authorizing the governing authority of the city of Fitzgerald to levy an excise tax. House Bill 55 by Representative Bruce of the 61st, Beverly of the 143rd, Allen of the 40th, Jackson of the 64th, Evans of the 83rd, and others. A bill relating to dangerous instrumentalities and practices and prohibited training. House Bill 56 by Representative Silcox of the 52nd, Powell of the 32nd, Corbett of the 174th. A bill relating to designation of travel lanes by the Department of Transportation and use of such lanes and registration of vehicles by manufacturers, distributors, dealers, dealer plates, and manufacturing headquarters plates. House Bill 57 by Representative Kendrick of the 93rd, Beverly of the 143rd, Scott of the 76th, Jones of the 53rd, Marin of the 96th, and others. Bill relating to primaries and elections. House Bill 58 by Representative Bernal of the 77th, Bodie of the 62nd, Schofield of the 60th, Clark of the 108th, Holland of the 54th, and others. Bill relating to crimes and offenses. House Bill 59 by Representative Belton of the 112th, Clark of the 147th, Clark of the 98th, Hitchens of the 161st, Prince of the 127th, and others. A bill relating to eligibility for enrollment in elementary and secondary educational programs. House Bill 60 by Representative Belton of the 112th, Clark of the 147th, Clark of the 98th, Hitchens of the 161st, Prince of the 127th, and others. Bill relating to post-secondary education and vocational, technical, and adult education. House Bill 61 by Representative Glanton of the 75th, Smith of the 134th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Smyrie of the 135th, and others. Bill relating to insurance. House Bill 62 by Representative Cooper of the 43rd, Hitchens of the 161st, Burns of the 159th, and Silcox of the 52nd. A bill relating to general provisions relating to health. House Bill 63 by Representatives Cooper of the 43rd, Smith of the 134th, Silcox of the 52nd. A bill relating to insurance. House Bill 64 by Representative Prince of the 127th, Belton of the 112th, Oliver of the 82nd, Holcomb of the 81st, Estration of the 104th. A bill relating to parent and child relationship general provisions. House Bill 65 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th, Harrell of the 106th, Kelly of the 16th, Fleming of the 121st, and Trammell of the 132nd. A bill relating to county special purpose local option sales tax. House Bill 66 by Representative Hughley of the 136th, Williams of the 168th, Smiley of the 135th, Dukes of the 154th, and McLean of the 100th. A bill relating to prestige license plates and special license plates for certain persons and vehicles. House Bill 67 by Representative Benton of the 31st, Powell of the 32nd, Green of the 151st, Smiley of the 135th, and McCall of the 33rd. A bill relating to Georgia legislative retirement system. House Bill 68 by Representative Carson of the 46th, Fleming of the 121st, Earhart of the 36th, Glanton of the 75th, Cantrell of the 22nd, and others. A bill relating to student scholarship organizations. House Bill 69 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Cantrell of the 22nd, Stovall of the 74th, Belton of the 112th, and Setzler of the 35th. A bill relating to qualifications of the Georgia Special Needs Scholarship Program. House Bill 70 by Representative Estration of the 104th, Fleming of the 121st, Scoggins of the 14th, Oliver of the 82nd, Trammell of the 132nd. A bill relating to Guardian and Ward. House Bill 71 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Caldwell of the 20th, Stover of the 71st, Clark of the 98th. A bill relating to property owners associations. House Bill 72 by Representative Burnell of the 77th, Scott of the 76th, Schofield of the 60th, Douglas of the 78th, and Glanton of the 75th. A bill to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Clayton County. House Bill 73 by Representative Morris of the 26th, Gilligan of the 24th, Fleming of the 121st, Kelly of the 16th, Jones of the 25th. A bill relating to miscellaneous offenses concerning public officers and employees. House Bill 74 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Clark of the 147th, Powell of the 32nd, Ridley of the 6th, and Gullett of the 19th. A bill relating to rideshare network services and transportation referral services. House Bill 75 by Representative Earhart of the 36th, Hitchens of the 161st, Powell of the 32nd, Jones of the 47th, Jaspers of the 11th, and others. A bill relating to duty of driver of vehicle meeting or overtaking school bus, reporting of violations, civil monetary penalty for violations captured by school bus camera. House Bill 76 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, Harrell of the 106th, Dickerson of the 113th. Bill relating to alcoholic beverages. House Bill 77 by Representative Clark of the 98th, Earhart of the 36th, Barr of the 103rd, Caldwell of the 20th, Richard of the 97th, and others. A bill relating to fraud and related offenses and general provisions relative to public assistance. House Bill 78 by Representative Clark of the 98th, Cooper of the 43rd, Jackson of the 128th, Glanton of the 75th, Mathiak of the 73rd, and others. A bill relating to miscellaneous provisions under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Resolution 6 by Representative Caldwell of the 20th and Cantrell of the 22nd, resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution so as to provide term limits for members of the Senate, members of the House of Representatives. House Resolution 7 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Mitchell of the 88th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Nelson of the 125th, Burnell of the 77th, and others. Resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide for the proceeds of one or more lottery games to benefit homeless military veterans. House Resolution 48 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Hogan of the 179th, Hitchens of the 161st, Stevens of the 164th, Petrie of the 166th. Resolution supporting Georgia's coastal tourism and fisheries and opposing seismic testing and oil and gas drilling activities off Georgia's coast. House Resolution 49 by Representative Green of the 151st, resolution honoring the life of Mr. James Bland Sr., dedicating a bridge in his memory. House Resolution 50 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Hitchens of the 161st, Stevens of the 164th, Petrie of the 166th. Resolution creating the House Study Committee on a Nancy Hanks passenger rail line from Savannah to Atlanta. House Resolution 51 by Representative Morris of the 26th, Jones of the 47th, Kelly of the 16th, Clark of the 98th, Burns of the 159th, and others. Resolution creating the joint Georgia, North Carolina, and Georgia-Tennessee Boundary Line Commission. House Resolution 52 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Sains of the 180th, Ridley of the 6th, Stevens of the 164th, and LaHood of the 175th. Resolution encouraging all schools, local education agencies, and state educational agency to recognize that dyslexia has a profound educational impact and that must be addressed. House Resolution 53 by Representative Donohue of the 30th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Cantrell of the 22nd, Stovall of the 74th, Hitchens of the 161st, and others. Resolution requesting that United States Congress shall call a convention under Article 5 of the Constitution of the United States limited to proposing amendment to the Constitution of the United States to set a limit on the number of terms that a person may be elected as a member of the United States House of Representatives and to set a limit on the number of terms that a person may be elected as a member of the United States Senate. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Barry Fleming of the 121st District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration the following bills of the House. Mr. Instructor Media reports same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 28 do pass. House Bill 21 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Barry Fleming of the 121st District, Chairman.
Okay, we're going on to morning orders. We are going on to morning orders. If you have signed up for a morning order, please be alert to having your name called. It's a little bit annoying and delays us when we have to send for you out in the hall somewhere when it's your turn. Other members who will remain seated and give attention and respect to the members in the well. The chair recognizes for a morning order Representatives Al Williams, Representative Jeff Jones, and Representative Don Hogan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On Monday of this week, down in southeast Georgia, and we funeralized a person that was very dear to our region. And Reverend Abram Brown was a resident of Glenn County, Representative Hogan and Representative Jones's county. He pastored in my county and was a 40-year friend. He was a trailblazer. He never met anybody that left him and didn't have a new friend. He was the first African American to win a countywide post in Glenn County. In 1984, he was elected coroner. He was an exceptional person, and he served on the board of directors of the bank that was started by a former member of this House, Representative Judge Roger Lane. Never forget him, and certainly he meant a lot to southeast Georgia. If we could pause for just a minute in memory for his family, his wife, and his daughter and his sons. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Cantrell for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, like many of you, I'm grateful to be a native of the great state of Georgia. Can I get a witness? All right. And I am proud that our state is a welcoming state and that we are known for our southern hospitality. And this weekend we got a lot of visitors coming in, and I'm glad that we are so welcoming to our visitors from all over. They're here for a football game. But I have to tell you, as I've driven around the city this week, I've seen some disturbing signs. Now, you know when the doorbell rings at your house, some visitors are more welcome than others. How many of you have had that terrible experience of going to the restaurant and ordering a Coke, only to be told is, you know, the Coke wannabe is blank okay? Now, I got two responses to that question. The one is, heck no, it's not okay. But then the second one is, yeah, it's okay, but I wasn't looking for an okay experience. I was looking to have the original, the real thing. Are you with me? Friends don't let friends drink a Coke wannabe. Am I right? Especially in Georgia. Coke's been here since 1868. It's the #1 soda on the planet. Always has been, always will be. So to our friends in the blue can, thank you for coming and spending your money in our great city. We're grateful for that. But we also want to say, bless your heart. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I can almost hear the roars coming out of that building on North Avenue right now. Chair recognizes Representative Doreen Carter for a morning order.
Good morning. Thank you, Speaker. Good morning. The women of the General Assembly rise this morning to bring awareness to heart disease. On Friday, February the 1st, is the National Go Red for Women, when the American Heart Association asks everyone to wear red. And since we're not going to be in session Friday, we're doing some of it today. And I wanted to give you a few facts. Heart disease is the leading cause of death of women in the United States, taking more lives than all cancers, respiratory disease, and Alzheimer's disease combined. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in women. More than 15% of all women have coronary heart disease. A statistics from 2008, but these numbers are still growing. Nearly 420,000 women died of heart disease, just to give you an idea, and 40,500 women of breast cancer, where we know that breast cancer is a horrible disease, but almost 1,000% more women are dying of heart disease. A statistic tells us after a woman's first heart attack, 26% of women aged 45 and older die within a year. I'm in my third or fourth year, so I really feel blessed, compared to 19% of men. At age 45, the lifetime risk of cardiovascular disease is more than 1 in 2 women. Some diagnostic tests and procedures, including exercise stress tests, might be less accurate with women than men. Unfortunately, a majority of the women who have heart attacks have no symptoms. And our symptoms are very different than men who are having heart attacks. So what we want to encourage everyone, aside from wearing red, we encourage you to go to the doctor. We're encouraging you to get checked out. And we're going to encourage you to change your diet. And we encourage you to drink more water and exercise. I want to share a couple real quick that we will send you something later this afternoon if you haven't already got it. We've also seen an increase in heart medicines that are contaminated, that are unfortunately have an increase in cause of cancer. So we want you all to share with your constituents that they need to check their medicine. We think that people know, but I was talking to some friends Sunday that had no idea that some of the heart medicines have been recalled. I went to pick my medicine up Tuesday after calling to confirm that my meds were not on the list, only to find out that it was flagged, even after talking to the pharmacist. So we want to, again, encourage you guys, want to thank you for this time. And the Heart Association will be here on Thursday to give us our pins. So those of you that didn't have your red dress, you can bring them, wear them on next Thursday. Thank you for this time. We yield the wheel.
Chair recognizes Representative Park Cannon for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to bring attention to 2 visitors in the gallery. Ms. Golden P. Smith, please stand, and Ms. Lawrence, please stand. Golden P. Smith witnessed a coworker's sexual assault, blew the whistle, and was fired. After self-litigating through Federal District Court and 11th Circuit, she wrote a book called Disruptive. and that will share her experience and advice with other women to help them navigate their workplaces. Lawrence Washington, better known as Miss Lawrence, is the gender nonconforming actor, entertainer, and activist who plays Miss Bruce on the Fox series Star, created by Lee Daniels and Tom D., along with Queen Latifah. Miss Lawrence is from Atlanta and has worked in Georgia for 20 plus years on Fox's Empire, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Fashion Queens, Good Day Atlanta, Good Morning America, The Real, and The Steve Harvey Show. We sit on the City of Atlanta's LGBTQ Advisory Board together, appointed by Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Please help me in welcoming these phenomenal Georgians to our state capitol with your applause. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Scott Turner for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise this morning to express a little bit of pride in my home community. As many of you know, I am the representative from Holly Springs, Georgia. Not many people know its proximity to Atlanta. It's only about 45 minutes away. It provides me the opportunity to drive home every night and sleep in my bed. And for the third year in a row, Holly Springs has been named the safest city in Georgia based upon FBI crime statistics. So I just want to take a moment this morning and recognize the hardworking men and women of the Holly Springs Police Department and our local community, because it's not just about the government action here, it's also the sense of community that we have in Holly Springs. We're really proud of that. I just want to share that with you and give a shout out to Chief Carswell, Mayor Miller, and the council. Thank you so much for what you do for our community.
Chair recognizes Chairman Kevin Tanner for a morning order.
Mr. Speaker, we have some fine, you and I share some fine constituents that are here today. The Dawson County Youth Leadership is going to be visiting us at the Capitol. They're in the gallery. If you would welcome them to our Capitol, some fine young men and women.
Chair recognizes Vice Chairman Gravely for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to wait for my colleagues to join me. If the House would stand with us, we have just learned that the last sole commissioner that Haralson County had, a man by the name of Amos Sparks, passed away Monday evening. Amos also spent a long career with the state of Georgia, and in recent years had retired to his farm in Felton, Georgia, which is represented by Whip Kelly. But he was a very genuine man. He was a very opinionated man. He loved his family, and he kept us in line in West Georgia. He is a tremendous loss to Haralson County, and we would ask that you would keep him and his family in prayer. I spoke with his son this morning, who's the tax commissioner in Haralson County, and we never know when to expect the loss of a parent, and even if we do expect it, it's still hard when it happens. So if we would have a moment of silence for the family of Mr. Amos Sparks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Drenner for a morning order. House will remain at order. House will remain at order. Lady may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to begin an earnest conversation about crime. That conversation is going to be, I'm going to use the premise of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So just follow me with that premise in mind. We cannot talk about crime without including the concept of thought. For example, if I murder someone, did I think about it? Did I plan it in advance? Or did I just pull the trigger and someone died? So someone's thoughts or intent or premeditation is important when someone commits a crime. We prosecute individuals based on the consequences of those thoughts when they are acted upon. Our prisons are filled with, in my analogy, with two types of inmates. Those that did not think before they acted, and those that thought about what they were going to do and got caught. Thought is an important concept in the prosecution of criminals. What were the thoughts of those individuals that assaulted Jussie Smollett as he was walking out of Subway? Do you think they were thinking he was a horrible actor? Or I can't stand the show Empire? No. The thoughts that they were thinking were illuminated in what they said. They shouted racial epithets and anti-gay comments at him as they threw bleach on him and placed a noose around his neck. Regulating actions that are predicated on hateful thoughts is not something new. What is new is saying or legislating that beating up a black gay man is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, I'm asking that this body continues the conversation on how thoughts influence crime. Thank you.
Clerk will read the caption to an unnumbered resolution.
By Burns, the 159th, calling a joint session of the House of Representatives and the Senate for the purpose of hearing a message from the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House to speak to the House resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. As is our custom, we hear from our judiciary, from the Chief Justice and the judges of the Supreme Court and the judges of the Court of Appeals come in and let us know the Chief Justice addresses this body and the Senate jointly assembled here. They will be here on February the 19th, 2019. It's a riveting discussion, and I encourage all of you to be here to hear more about the state of the judiciary in this state. Mr. Speaker, that's the resolution. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. If not, I would ask for your favorable adoption of this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Do not appear to have any questions.
Yield the well.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the House resolution which calls for a joint session for purposes of hearing the state of judiciary? Any objection? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes Representative Metz to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Good morning. I want to thank Speaker Ralston for giving me this opportunity to present our doctor for today, Dr. LaJune Oliver. Some of you probably remember she was with us 2 years ago, and I introduced her. I promised the speaker, we promised the speaker, that I will be brief, Mr. Speaker. I will be brief, trust me. Dr. Oliver is a board-certified family medicine physician and obesity medicine specialist with Kaiser Permanente. She is a native Georgian, MD, Emory University. What really impressed me about reading or really getting an update on Dr. Oliver is that she has been active in the design of a comprehensive weight management program at Kaiser Permanente, Georgia, that focuses on improving wellness of obese patients, promoting weight loss through medicines or medications, and meal replacements. And I want to personally take this opportunity to thank Dr. Oliver because I still am involved with that program. So thank you so very much for taking the leadership in this much needed weight management program. I present to you now Dr. Oliver.
Thank you, Representative Metz and Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity to serve as your doctor of the day. I certainly bring greetings on behalf of the Southeastern Permanente Medical Group, and as a native Georgian, I am so honored again to be here, and thank you so much for the work that you do in representing my community as well as all Georgians. Thank you.
Dr. Oliver, I was concerned that many of my members were going to take great offense at this meal replacement idea you have. They don't like to replace meals. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 85.
House Resolution 85 by Representative Setzler, the 35th, Jones, the 25th, Park of the 101st, and others. A resolution welcoming and commending the Honorable Ambassador Harsh Vardhan Shingla and for other purposes.
It's all yours. Representative Setzler, Chair recognizes Chairman Ed Setzler to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it is truly an honor today to represent all of us in welcoming the India ambassador to the United States. Ambassador Shringla was appointed just in the month of January to this new post, representing the world's largest democracy, India. The largest middle class in the world. In fact, as we were talking earlier, Ambassador Shringla says India is looking forward to a general election in April where they have 880 million registered voters that will be participating in the democratic process. So as we look at our relationship with India that is growing leaps and bounds, Georgia's exports to India increased 167%. 167% just since 2016, and we're just delighted that this business-minded, freedom-loving nation has such a presence and such a growing presence in Georgia. And with that, it's my honor to introduce to you Ambassador Shringla to share some words. Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Representative Setzler. I would like to thank the Honorable Speaker the Honorable House Representatives for honoring me with this resolution on my first ever visit to the city of Atlanta in Georgia. It's been 3 weeks since I arrived in the United States to take up my post as Ambassador of India, and I'm very happy that my first official visit is to the city of Atlanta. We are very well represented here by our Consulate General that was established in 2011, and by our Consul General, Dr. Swati Kulkarni, who is here with me. As Representative Setzler mentioned, our engagement, economic engagement with the United States has increased significantly. But a good part of that comes from the region that we are in, the southeastern region of the United States. We have 80 Indian companies that have invested in this region. They have invested up to $8 billion. We are looking at further investments in the areas of high technology, in the areas of defense manufacturing, and we certainly look to the support of the representatives in extending this engagement between the state of Georgia and India. I had the honor to meet Governor Kemp. I met the Lieutenant Governor before I've come to the House, and I did encourage them to see if the state of Georgia could establish a commercial office in India to encourage greater trade and economic ties between the state and India. And before coming here, I went to the Martin Luther King Center, where I paid homage to the statue of Mahatma Gandhi, which is at the center, because today is the 71st death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, on the occasion of his 150th birth anniversary, which coincides with the 90th birth anniversary of Martin Luther King, 60th anniversary of Martin Luther King's historic visit to India. I think this is a good moment to honor the memories of these two great individuals who did so much for their respective countries and their societies. I thank you for this honor, and namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
House will remain in order. House will remain in order. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 71.
House Resolution 71 by Representative Bonner, the 72nd, Stover, the 71st, Mathiak, the 73rd, Jackson, the 64th, and Bazemore, the 63rd. A resolution commending the Peachtree City Little League team for placing fourth in the 2018 Little League World Series and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Representative Bonner to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Speaker. This morning I have the privilege to recognize the Peachtree City Little League baseball team, a team that has been able to do what few teams in Georgia here lately have been able to do, and that's to go to the World Series. First, I'd like to recognize the other members of the team, along with the coaches and our mayor of Peachtree City, Vanessa Fleisch, up in the gallery. So if y'all would please stand and be recognized. So up at the podium, we've got Coach Patrick Glorio, players Will McGinnis, Will Clem, Charlie Clem, and Connor Soper. And these boys are a part of a team that back in August got to do something pretty extraordinary, and that's to go to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Now, they came up a little short. They lost to a very tough Hawaii team after 17 innings, but these boys did something that was pretty amazing. Not only did they achieve that berth to the World Series, and they did well, but for a few days in August, they did what few things do, and that was to bring a community together. So it didn't matter if you were a baseball fan or a sports fan or you had a kid on the team or not. For those few days in August, everybody in the city of Peachtree City and the surrounding area was glued to the TV wanting to know what happened with these boys. And they conducted themselves in an extraordinary manner. They were awarded the Randy Loesch, or the Jack Loesch Sportsmanship Award, which for the first time in that tournament's history was awarded to two teams, Peachtree City and Hawaii. So at this time, I'd like to bring forward Coach Patrick Glorio to say a few words. Coach?
Thank you, Representative Bonner. Just want to say we're very proud to represent the state of Georgia, Southeast. Some of the toughest games that we played in this whole tournament were actually against the couple of teams from Georgia. Smyrna and Northern Columbus had amazing teams, and we really appreciate you having us here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair wants to recognize on the floor of the House a distinguished former member of this body, former State Representative Neil Shepard. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Recognizing and commending Greg Anderson upon the grand occasion of his retirement, commending the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, commending Officer Matthew Bernard Cooper, commending the Georgia Future Farmers of America, and recognizing February 17th through 23rd. 2019 is National FFA Week, with February 19th, 2019 is FFA Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Rachel Jackson for her outstanding public service. Recognizing February 10th, 2019 is Georgia Automatic Merchandising Council Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Sergeant Lorette Batiste Pereira. Recognizing and commending Miss Lawrence Washington. Recognizing February 5th, 2019 is Equine Youth Day at the State Capitol, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We're about to go on to announcements. If you have signed up for an announcement, make your way to the front of the podium. The chair wants to recognize and ask you to join me in wishing a happy birthday on Friday to Representative Kevin Cook. We're going on now to announcements. Chair recognizes Representative Marin for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, buenos dias. I just want to remind the Gwinnett delegation that we have our first meeting at noon or upon adjournment in room 510 CLOB. Very important meeting. We need to approve the bylaws so we can turn those in before February 4th. So lunch will be provided. So Gwinnett delegation, see you soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Jasmine Clark for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that we do not have session tomorrow, but there is a cannabis education meeting tomorrow in CAP 216. All are invited, and if you just want to learn a little bit more about cannabis, then I would invite you. It's in 216 CAP at 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Donahue for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Wanted to make an announcement today that because of the snowstorm, Gila will be canceling tonight the Commerce Club reception. The dog sled apparently had stopped about 100 miles short and couldn't make it through this blizzard. So there will be a cancellation tonight of Gila.
Snowstorm? Oh, well, we have to do what they do? Okay, I was afraid I'd missed the snowstorm there, Representative. Chair recognizes Chairman Houston for an announcement.
Thank you. The Appropriations Economic Development Committee will meet in Capitol Room 341 at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Green for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. State Properties will meet in 403 of the State Capitol at 2 p.m. That's 2 p.m. today in room 403. I also have an announcement from Representative Al Williams. He would like for someone to return the resolutions that he has lost on his desk. So if you can find them, please return them to him. And he has a reward for them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Reinders for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Representative Williams will treat you to a donut in an anteroom. He's covering all costs. Listen, it's Super Wednesday, so we're going to try to get out of here for those that have to get on the road, but we do have a quick governmental affairs meeting in room 133. That's not our normal room. Ways and Means at 1 p.m. Governmental Affairs. Please be there and please be on time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Dickerson for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the notice that the ladies got for the Women's Caucus meeting, it is February the 5th, our first meeting, and not the 12th. So would you please make note of that, and I will make another announcement on next week, February the 5th. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That completes our announcements. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at this time, I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Tuesday, February the 5th, 2019.
Majority Leader has moved that this House be adjourned until Tuesday, February 5th at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion will please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes clearly have it, and this House will be adjourned until Tuesday, February 5th at 10 a.m.